Hey everyone, it's Lance from Christianity Minute. Sorry for the strange looking video, probably a little strange sounding too. The last time, normally when I shoot a video I use my bigger camera, but for some reason when I went to post I noticed that the image, the actual camera image, was completely trashed. Was not usable. So I've had to do reshoot. And while normally I get these things posted ahead of time, not this morning. So bear with me, and let's get this taken care of, because welcome to the Daily Devotional Series. I know that you're trying to get this in, so am I, spending a little bit of time so that I can spend a little time with you and with the Word as often as we can. I've got my Bible right here, and I know that you're busy, so I'll be posting the scripture up on the screen for you, and we'll squeeze this in. Well, Tuesday, we talked about an angel appearing to Zechariah, and the angel told him that his wife would be giving birth to a son, despite the fact that he and Elizabeth were advanced in years, and that his name would be called John, which is a little unusual, and we'll talk about that, the reason why it's unusual later on. Let's dive into the scripture. Luke chapter 1, starting in verse 18, reads, "And Zechariah said to the angel, 'How shall I know this? For I am an old man, and my wife is advanced in years.' And the angel answered him, 'I am Gabriel. I stand in the presence of God, and I was sent to speak to you and to bring you this good news. And behold, you will be silent and unable to speak until the day that these things take place, because you did not believe my words, which will be fulfilled in their time.' And the people were waiting for Zechariah, and they were wondering at his delay at the temple. And when he came out, he was unable to speak to them, and they realized that he had seen a vision in the temple. And he kept making signs to them and remained mute. And when the time of his service had ended, he went to his home. After those days, his wife Elizabeth conceived, and for 5 months she kept herself hidden, saying, 'Thus the Lord has done for me in the days when he looked on me, to take away my reproach among the people.'" Pardon me, I got the sniffles too. Well, starting in verse 18, Zechariah is obviously really confused and likely still very frightened. Let's face it, this angel had appeared to him and told him that he would be having a child. And he admits that he and his wife, they're too old for these things. His unbelief costs him to be mute. It's unclear if the angel is really angry with him or not, but because Zechariah did not believe him and these words of joy and the answering of prayers to God, the angel does strike him mute. Okay, oddly enough, the angel's named. He refers to himself as Gabriel. Now, why we have the name of an angel, I can only really guess at. But I think it's probably to differentiate himself from John, who was to be the voice leading up to Jesus. We don't want to confuse the angel for Elijah, who would be John, the voice leading to Jesus. But to be honest, that's just a guess. The scriptures don't really tell us. Now, Zechariah, he comes out of the temple, and whether or not he actually did his offering of incense is not stated in Scripture. I don't think that he did, mainly because he would have been so distressed, so frightened, it's really hard for me to believe that he would have. Everyone is paying attention outside, and they were really noticing that it's really taking a long time to do the incense, which doesn't take that long. I can imagine the murmuring that had begun to occur when suddenly he bursts out and he's trying to communicate with folks of what happened. Probably just waving his arms, obviously very distressed. And the priests are trying to figure out what's going on. Well, somehow Zechariah communicates what happened. Would love to play charades with this guy. I can hardly imagine how it felt to go through that ordeal. And then to continue this way for the next 9 months? What a test of faith. Well, naturally, after finishing work, Zechariah comes home and tells his wife. I always had a little wonder in my head if she laughed the way Sarah did back in Genesis. That's just a wandering thought, though, more than anything else. As foretold by the angel, she becomes pregnant, and she keeps herself hidden from everyone for the next 5 months. Why she does this, we can only really speculate, but here are a couple of ideas. First idea, she's an old woman by this time. I know that whenever my wife was pregnant with my daughter, it was a real tax on her and her body. I would imagine Elizabeth, already being pretty far beyond childbearing age, that her body would have been rebelling against her fairly quickly. And she would want to keep herself from everybody. And secondly, many people already knew about the vision Zechariah had because of the multitude that were in the temple when he came out. Well, I would imagine it would have caused a real stir among folks for barren Elizabeth to suddenly be pregnant after such an event. And it might have caused a pretty big stir that she didn't want to deal with. Either way, Elizabeth hides herself away, but is quite frankly very thankful for the son she's about to have. Now, Tuesday, we're going to talk about another couple who's going to have a child. We know them already pretty well. Their names are Mary and Joseph. And the circumstances behind a certain one-of-a-kind child that they get to call their own for a little while. I'd imagine this is all a very real ordeal for everyone, even though it was something that they really wanted. The Lord up above knows that my daughter, whom I love dearly with all my heart and all my life and all my soul, can be a real pain in the tail end sometimes. But I still give thanks for her for every day. Remember, you have blessings in your life. And sometimes it can cause you a lot of trouble. You can go through a lot of difficulty. Remember those blessings. What they are, who they are. And give thanks to God every chance you get. That's been your Christianity Minute Daily Devotional for the day. Be sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that bell icon if you want notifications. As far as the comments go, I've mentioned this several times now, but I'm going to keep mentioning it. Use it like a journal. Feel free to write something down that you learned today. Sometimes putting it in your own words will help. Will help you remember it later on. And this is great stuff to remember, right? I'll post a short devotional every Tuesday and Thursday at 5 a.m. Now, go out, be energized, stay positive about the day, keep Christ close at heart in the blessings in your life. And I'll see you next time right here on Christianity Minute Daily Devotional.